Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the technical momentum outlook for week 1 for 2017. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only to support your knowledge in the market. See what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, last day of the year 2016 gone out the door. You may have never thought we would make it through this presidential election in one piece. Uncertainty from the Fed meeting as markets consolidated, and a little bit of a pullback here after the run-up on post-election results. Make sure as we look through the charts here, attempting to determine which way market will go through on any given day is simply merely a guess in which some will get it right, some will get it wrong. Being prepared each day in either direction for the strongest possible trend is simply by looking at longer term charts and utilizing whatever indicator of choice it is for you on a lower time frame to identify the setup and learning to remain in the trade that much longer. Any chart that I showed to you here is merely a snapshot of current technical momentum and in no way indicative of where price may lead forward. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of those big picture. Let's start out with the daily gaps. As we see, YM reaching up here almost at 20K here to finish out the year, but pulling back here. Nearest open gap downside 18,929, as we'll take a look at where and what support we have here that might either bring us down a little bit further or might push us up a little bit higher. NQ also trying just by a couple ticks. Again, these are the futures. Even the Dow not being able to ring that 20K bell, but we almost got there. But NQ almost to that 5,000 and pulled back to close out a gap here. Open gap from start of the month, December, at 82.50 today. And that's right, pulling back to 50% of that move for the entire month of December today, down here around 57.13. So nice move on the Fibonacci retracements on the NQ. Our nearest open gap now downside all the way down here at 610.75. And the daily ES, again, still pushing those higher highs. Again, drawing a fib retracement from the lowest low to the highest high here for the end of November, pulling back also to 50%, 29.63 there today, pushing back upside. Nearest open gap, mark that 21.9725. So what are the probabilities of these open gaps eventually get closed? Well, 100% that they'll eventually get closed. It's a matter of when and if the trend pulls us there. So let's go ahead and jump into the bigger pictures. These are the yearly pictures, and we'll run through the NQ, YM, and ES and see where that momentum sits currently and what to look for each day and how I use that on an intraday basis. But let's go ahead and get the big picture here. NQ, here's 2016. As we saw, these are the MML, Murray Math level charts. This is the bigger picture. I like looking at them on a bigger picture each day to see where current levels of support and resistance are. You can pick MML, you can pick cam lines, you can pick just any old pivot support resistance. Here we see price action back in February found support around the oversold, which is the MML -2. Found some resistance here at value area and pushed all the way up here as we are at the highs, as we have seen in the market, as price action consolidated here throughout the year. So on the bigger picture, that's where we sit as we continue to push up to the next resistance up here around 5K. So let's go ahead and now that we see the yearly picture as we had this incredible run up, let's go ahead and take a look at the daily and the 4-hour charts. Taking a look here at the daily chart is price action. And again, here on the left, the daily NQ finding ourselves pulling back from almost that resistance at 5K. So daily on the left, 4-hour on the right. Daily picture here, pulling back down into value area. Major support resistance is my first level as I look to today. 43.75 was my thought that we might get there, as it lined up with the lower zone here on the 4-hour chart, 43.75. So the case for next week is price action will come down. We can look for either support back down here at 43.75 inside value, or at least the 50 EMA on a daily. I'll look down if markets are moving down on the Heiken Ashi bars on an intraday basis. I'll be looking down here to 43.75 to start out the week, and maybe perhaps the daily 50 MA. The first thing I'm going to be looking for is the break here of support 48.24. Look for perhaps a bounce here around 47.85, which will still then push me below the value area here on the daily. So again, once again, 4-hour chart here. First, I'll look for the move down into support here, 48.24, which still keeps me inside value. If for any reason I break the support, then I know I'm headed down to at least the range bottom here inside value. If we break range bottom here, then 4-hour charts will eventually reset themselves, and then I'll look down to the 200 period moving average, 46.87 downside. As we finished up the week here, current trend on the NQ on the 60-minute chart holding downside as we see the support here. So whether it's the 60-minute or the 15-minute chart, I still have lower levels here that I could find support, whether it's on Sunday or Monday's open. Actually, Monday or Tuesday, as Monday is a holiday. So price action, start of next week, I'll look down here to 33.98. A look on the hourly chart, as currently we are holding downside trend on the hourly chart on the NQ. Here we found support today down at the lower levels on both charts, 60-minute and a 15-minute chart. So as price action held here, I knew we weren't coming down to 43.75. 43.75 again would have put me into the 4-hour support. The case for the upside is if price action is able to break up, back up above here, 41.41 or 49.41, then I will look for the 5K, which would then I have similar levels here on both the 4-hour charts and the daily chart. Case for the upside move. Current trend momentum looking better to the downside. So again, recap here. If price action on the 4-hour chart not able to hold the support here and the oversold reversal, breaking the bottom here, look for first levels down here around 48.04. If we lose that, then I'll look down here once again to 46.87 as a low for support on the bigger time frame. But again, I will consult both the 60-minute and the 50-minute on an intraday basis, as these levels will be reset each day. The 4-hour chart holding a little bit longer to the downside. Let's jump right into the yearly chart on the YM as we see price action holding here down back in January, rising just like we saw in the NQ, holding up here, a little bit of resistance up there at the 20K. Do we go and ring that bell? Well, let's take a look at the YM charts. Let's chart the daily and the 4-hour chart first. As we were unable to reach 20K, range top right here, looking down at major support resistance down around 18,750 on a daily chart. Remember, don't forget open gaps. Daily 50 period moving average here around 176. What's the probability that we continue down here? Well, first I look to the 4-hour charts. 4-hour chart here, support down here around 531, 492 to 531. Well, 492 puts me right in the vicinity right here, right before a major pivot. So if we break the support here down to the reversal, which would be about 414, I still have a little bit of room back down here to if we eventually get down to 19,063 or at least 18,750. Whether that happens or not, I can't tell you that. All I can tell you is that the probability will continue to the downside if we continue to break the lower. So I'll watch the 4-hour chart first for support here as we finished off the week on the YM here. Here's the 60-minute chart here. Current trend downside 51.44 as we hold downside. Here we can see today went from the reversal all the way down to oversold, finding support here. So I'll look into next week as price action. Do we reset our levels downside? If we reset our levels downside, then price action, I'll be looking down here on the 4-hour charts to the support. And if we continue to break the 4-hour charts, then I'll look to the daily charts downside. All right, let's jump into the ES. It's price action on the ES as we've seen all year. Price action, very similar picture as we saw in the YM and NQ. finding support here down at the oversold. Its price action now in the shorter term eventually found support here at value area, pushed back upside, and now consolidated in resistance. The case for the upside on the ES and the case for the downside. Let's jump right into both the daily and the 4-hour chart. Price action, the case for the downside is momentum currently as we finish the ES to the downside on the 60-minute chart, sitting inside value. The case to the downside is that we continue next week to perhaps push down to the 60 and the 50-minute chart as we found support here on today's session, all the way to the downside here around oversold reversal, and actually on the 60-minute chart finding it here in support. And then on the 4-hour chart, if we are unable to hold on these levels intraday, the 4-hour chart, I will look down to around 22, which puts me just at about right here on the daily chart, looking at the 50 MA as a possible support. If we aren't able to hold that, then I look down to major support resistance, or at least top of the range down here at 21.25. All right, the case for the upside as the 60-minute chart and the 15-minute chart here. 15-minute chart, again, we'll look for the move back up. If price action finds support here and moves back upside, we'll take a look for first resistance on the 15-minute chart, which should put us back up here around the 51.44 on an intraday basis. That should put us up around 22.53, which is about a match here on the 15-minute chart. If we're able to break through there, then I'll look for the breakup around here again. That would be the range top 5, and then we'll look to the 4-hour chart to make its way back up here to 22.69 and see if resistance holds there. 22.69, and then about around 22.81 on the daily chart. Again, case to the downside, case to the upside. I apologize. Let's go back for a moment on the YM. I believe we missed the case both for the upside. The upside on the YM here is the price action. It does able to hold here in value area. Price action back to the upside would then look into the resistance 19.83. Again, we want to consult intraday basis. Do we find support here on both the 15-minute and the 60-minute chart? If we do find the support down here, we'll look for the resistance at the 51.44. If we break through to the upside, then we'll look for the resistance up here all the way up to the upper zone, 961. If we break 961, then we make a run for the 20K bell and look into the area of resistance up here on the daily chart. All right, so how do we tie this all in? Again, these are the bigger pictures. These are the levels. I look to resistance up here. I look to major support resistance and support downside on all time frames. If I'm looking at the bigger time frame, let's take a look at an example on the ES here. We saw the 60-minute chart here today. On the ES's price action found resistance here to the upside, major support resistance. 51.44 inside value, and price action couldn't hold on the ES. So looking at the bigger time frame, 60-minute chart downside, we knew where the bigger picture is. Let's go back again, once again, to the bigger picture on the ES. All right, there it is. Price action on the bigger picture ES sitting inside value on a daily. Here's the 4-hour chart. We found that there was resistance already prior this week, but we couldn't push above the value area here. And so we look to the 60-minute chart. There it is. We're also inside value, sitting below the 51.44. So at this point, the probability of the ES sitting to the going to the downside is more likely. And on the 15-minute chart, we see the same picture here. Globex session, choppy, and finding resistance here, holding as the ES then starts to move down. So what is the probability of me wanting to enter in a trade like this? For me, it's my core setup that you see here on the chart on the right. The setup on the right is an indicator that says the trend has a higher probability of not only having a good move to the downside, but also the ability to stay in it. That's right, the ability to stay in it as price action leads down. It's the 51.44 cloud seen here on a 1-minute overlay, the T350 period moving average with the T310, but it's the Heiken Ashi bars all the way down, keeping in trend in sync with the 534. So take the HA bars in sync with, that's right, the resistance here, unable to break to the upside, and now the core setup in supplement with a higher time frame And in this case, using the MML chart, you can use cam, pivot lines, whatever it is that your bigger picture choice is for watching on charts. And there you got yourselves a beautiful setup on the ES to the downside. All right, so there's our big picture leading into 2017. Where we're going in 27, no idea. Bring it on. We got Brexit, Trumponomics, unsettling world civility to one another. We got Fed. You never know what's going to happen in the months to come. Start out in January. We'll look to Q4 data starting us out the roll of the year. And our next president stepping in the White House to start out 2017. And hopefully some volume rolling back into the markets. All right, so let's take a look at the calendar for next week as we start out 2017. For Friday, January 6th, I'm looking to the non-farm payrolls number, a couple red star events throughout the week, as well as to Wednesday for the FOMC minutes from the decision in December. Also remember that markets will be closed on Monday, January 2nd. All right, Jetter traders, that concludes an insight into the technical momentum for week 1 of 2017. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra, one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at tradingfibs, and as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only watch what's in front of me and on my charts, and as always, leave your buys at the door when trading. Make sure you check out the blog here each day. I go ahead pre-session, pre-market trend here. For instance, pre-market trend here today, week 52, day 5, where you will see the charts obviously change each day, both on the hourly and the daily, including the charts. So I want to check that out, where probability might lead. Again, you got to be ready in both directions, like I just showed you on the charts. Especially on the intraday. Hikadashi bars will keep you in trend. Really nice tie-in together with the MML charts. For those of you that are interested in joining us in our community of like-minded traders seeking highest probability setups, feel free to email me at david@tradingfibs.com. You may join us on any Thursday or Friday to view the live chart setups as they happen in the trading day. Hey guys, have yourselves a great new year. Have yourselves a Blue Zone weekend wherever you may be. Good day. Good night, and good trading to ya and to 2017.